Hello and welcome to Mr. Randy's Wine and Spirits. I am Mr. Randy, and today we're doing another full review episode. If you're new to the channel, hello, welcome, come on in. Always good to see new people. Always great to see all my returning viewers as well. Come on back in. Let's get it. So today's full review episode is going to be of the Nikka Coffee Grain Whiskey. Produced by the Nikka Japanese Distilling Company Limited, Japan. 45% alcohol by volume. Get you a look at the backside. We'll take a look over that in a minute, but just imported through San Francisco. There's a website I did not go to, did not see, but this is what they call a coffee still. It's a continuous still. The reason why they called it a coffee still is because it was of, hold on, let me get to my notes. Where is he? Oh, it was after the guy, Aeneas Coffey, and 1830s. Now, the Japanese fellow who went over to Scotland and hung out with this Aeneas guy and learned how to run this coffee still and make this whiskey, this Scotch whiskey. His name was Masataka. I believe I pronounced that correct. Masataka Taketsuro. Masataka Taketsuro. Okay, so now this happened in 1919. You know what? I need to do my notes a little bit better. So it fully kicked off in 1966. Although 3 years prior to that, I guess they were getting it all set up in Japan. So when Masataka went over to Scotland and hang out with Aeneas and learned how to run a coffee still, Aeneas gave him a coffee still to take back. Okay, that's what I see. Okay, now I remember. So that happened in 1919. Now, Masataka, he brought the still back in 1963. And in 1966, 3 years later, Masataka basically just started over with a secondary still. And now they were producing twice as much. So that's a little story, history, and background of why it's called Nikka. And the coffee still is called coffee still. And why that one that is currently still pumping out in Japan is the last coffee still. As far as I understand, it is the last continuous running coffee still. Maybe I've heard of coffee stills being used in other places, but I think it's still going. The ones that he brought from Scotland to Japan is still going, and they're still using it. And it is the oldest and only one of its kind that is still running. I'm sure that they've made variations to the coffee still or the continuous still, but I don't think they call it a coffee still. They may refer to the word coffee still as of, because that's what it is. It's a continuous still like that one they use. Anywho, we're blabbering on. So the mash bill on this is 95% corn with 5% malted barley. It's pretty interesting. And yep. So they claim they use refilled, recharred, remade American oak barrels. Quite interesting. I didn't see a whole lot into that, but yeah. So before we go on with more, I got more information, so let's just keep going. Mr. Randy does a 3-part series. Part 1, off the rip, get it home, crack it open, have my first pour, share my first impressions with you because that's what we do. Part 2, full review time, where we're at today. We drink it down halfway where we're at. I put the cap in the bottle, put it back on the shelf, let it sit there for a week and a half, 2 weeks, let it open up, off gas, do what it will. Then while it's there, I go online, I find a whole bunch of stuff to talk about because I really dove deep because I've been thinking about this bottle since 2025 for probably a good 6 to 8 months, probably. Yeah, definitely. So anyway, I come back, I talk about all this great stuff. I score it because we're going to continue drinking it. Part 3, final pour, thusly named. We're going to compare the final pour to the first pour and everything in between. Let's go ahead and get this cork pop. Oh, it's not a cork, but it's a twister. It's a twister. Oh, almost pulled the whole thing on. Oh boy. Oh, got to go a little light on this one today. Got to go a little on the lighter end. But Oh, I gotta go ahead and go grab something real quick. Just a second. Almost forgot. Ooh, here we go. Almost forgot Mr. Randy's handy dandy whiskey color scale. Off camera, I'm going to try and nail this down. That's very golden light. This might be a little hard. Let's see. I would say it's somewhere between a medium brown and like a deep brown. What do you think? I think it might look a little closer to that deep brown. Thank you for that. So on the nose, it has definitely taken a step down on the nose, but it is one of those richer, deeper grain whiskeys. Excuse me, whatever the heck that is needs to go before I get on the palate. Hopefully that'll do whatever it's got to do. So, if you're an avid viewer, if you're a recurring viewer and you've watched plenty of my videos, especially when it comes to Japanese whiskeys, you have heard me talk at great length about how Japan is getting their stuff together. They're hankering down, they're getting down on their laws to make sure that a Japanese whiskey is a Japanese whiskey. You can't just bottle it in Japan, call it Japanese whiskey. You can't just do little parts or here or there, slap a label on it in Japan and call it a Japanese whiskey. They're really hammering down on this law. So at April 1st of 2021, the labeling standards took effect. And they've been enforcing these laws ever since 2021. So this is a 3-year-old. And the one thing I didn't like about the standards, the labeling standards, for it to be a, Japanese whiskey straight through and through, like a bourbon. Think of it as a bourbon. A bourbon has rules. It has to be made in America. It has to use the virgin oak barrels, and it has to be for 3 years. And same thing with the Japanese whiskey standards now. The only problem is they are now being allowed to add color, which is unnecessary. It really is unnecessary. Moving on. Mr. Randy paid $61.48 out the door for this bottle at my local specs here in Western San Antonio, Texas. And it's 45% alcohol by volume, and that's where we pick up the glass. Now, the nose is going to be a dead giveaway to the mash bill and the still used, because it's 95% corn. So it's got a nice sweet but hearty kind of corn, sort of a nosing. Malted barley is going to be a little bit of the mellow side, but it's pretty much a dead giveaway on the nose. That mash bill is high in corn, because it smells like an American whiskey, like a good American whiskey, but it also has a little bit of a sort of Scotch sort of characteristic to it, because it's made from the pot stills, the continuous coffee still. Sorry, I said pot still. Yeah, but it's definitely discernible. Let's go ahead and get on the palate. Palate has definitely changed as well from off the rip. It's interesting. There was a slight little bit of bitterness on the palate, but that's the initial palating. So let's keep that in mind, shall we? As I'm saying I'm rattling off all these things. I need to start shutting up and talk about something else while we do this first palating. If you like the video, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button. Got a lot of information. I know we're pushing 10 minutes and we haven't gotten halfway through. I'll speed it up. Let's go ahead and just get the second one on here, because I'm wanting to say things I know are not going to hold true. Look at that. It's very juicy on the palate. There is that slight little bitterness and dryness I do recall on the first half of this bottle, and it just got more pronounced. This is really going to be difficult on the scoring part. So on the palate, I'm getting a lot across the tongue, into the cheeks and jowls, and a little bit on the back end, not a whole lot. But it's probably going to come out in the finish here. Let's go ahead and do this. So right next to this one was a yellow label, and then there were two other limited release, they're little square, little rectangle bottles. And then they have one even, they had the regular rectangle bottle, then they had a little smaller one, like a more special reserve or whatever it is. I didn't spend too much time looking at them. I thought that was really neat that they did have the 4 expressions from the Nikka. They had this one, they had the yellow label, they had the smaller rectangle bottle, and then even smaller rectangle. And I was like, what? What is that? That's neat. But of course, you know, the price just went as I went down. Yellow, red, okay, crap. You know, stop. I'm like, just grab what I came to get. But I think there was only 2 bottles of that really special one. That was not supposed to come through. I don't know if it's even going to show up. But things are going to start making noise, so I got to speed this up. And we're pushing 12 minutes. The finish is a little bit harsh on the grains, especially with it being 95% corn, 5% malted barley. That still is, it's very interesting. It's sort of like drinking back in time. You coming from those continuous coffee pot, or coffee stills, coffee pot. I got coffee on the brain. Oh, goodness. It's a unique one for sure. I wouldn't say it would rub a lot of people the wrong way. So I would definitely say try and see if you can find some place where you can try it before you buy it. I mean, it's $61.48 for me. I don't know what it is for you, but pop that in the comment section. Let's talk about that. But the score is not very bad. It's not very harsh. But we're going to move on to my score. I'm going to have to give it a weak 4 out of 5. It's very unfortunate. I've been looking forward to this for probably a good 8 months now. And then, yeah, I get it. Try to give it the best hit, let it go as, give it a fair shake as I possibly can. So I'm not saying it's a bad one as of yet. I'm still saying it's still pretty good. It's probably not going to be everybody's cup of tea. You know what I'm saying? That's where that's going to go. My fair price on this, no disrespect, but I would like to see it probably under 50 out the door. It's got a bit of roughness. The character to it is what it is, and it's liked for what it is, but it's probably not, not going to be liked by many people. They respect it and all that it is, but there it is. When I buy this again, I was very much thinking about one of those smaller bottles. I forget, like a reserve or they're extra limited editions or something like that. And they're numbered and stuff like that. And I was thinking about getting one of those. But I don't know. We'll think about it. Well, there it is. Got to wrap this up. In the comment section, I'd love to know where you're at. What are you drinking? Have you had a Nikka? If you have, let's talk about it. And as always, thanks for stopping by here at Mr. Randy's Wine and Spirits. For now, it'll be a good one.